Why stock Chevy 2500 wheels and tyres just won't cut it? Why would you need to change the factory wheels and tyres on your Chevy 2500HD? Putting it simply, the factory wheels and tyres just won't cut it to be comfortable and capable all around Australia. They may be fine for day-to-day use if you've just picked up the vehicle and want to go on a trip away. The factory wheels, they actually won't fit when we put our 3-inch BDS suspension kit onto these Chevy 2500. To get a better ride, the suspension's key, but the wheel and tyre combination is really, really important as well. The most popular wheel and tyre combination is a 35-inch tyre on an 18-inch wheel. This is a 35-inch tyre on a 20-inch wheel. And what that one there is a slightly smaller sidewall, but when we drop down to an 18-inch wheel, you're going to get a bigger sidewall and you're going to get better performance out of a wheel and tyre combination. Nothing wrong with the 35 on a 20. These are actually going to perform really, really well on-road and off-road. Airing down off-road with a 35 on an 18-inch wheel is going to allow a bigger footprint, resulting in better off-road performance. Why would someone choose a larger wheel with a smaller 35-inch tyre? To go out with your offset, the more negative the offset, we can jump into that in a second, is going to go away from the vehicle. Not a lot of suppliers have 18-inch wheel fitments that are going to come away from the vehicle, and that's how a lot of people like the vehicle stance here in Australia to fill out the aftermarket bushwhacker flares. You're going to get a wider stance on the vehicle, which is going to be a little bit more stable on-road and off-road. But the 20-inch wheel option is what's needed as well on some of the bigger lift kits here that we offer at Big Dog Builds. When it comes to the larger suspension kits, there's components in these kits which are going to actually interfere with the factory wheels and tyres, as well as the smaller wheels. So you got front tie rod ends in the front end suspension on these bigger lift kits. That's going to hit inside of a wheel if you're going for the traditional 18x9 positive 18 offset. For the 20-inch wheel option, it's going to clear these steering assemblies and it's going to allow you to run a non-flared fitment in a 20-inch wheel on a 5-inch or a 6.5-inch kit. I can see some 18-inch wheel options over there. We'll jump over, we'll get into why the 35 on an 18-inch wheel just works. And that comes down to the load rating of the wheel, the load rating of the tyre, the fitment. There's a lot in the 2500 Chevy wheel and tyre fitments. We'll get into offsets. We'll get into backspace, because I'm sure you read that online when you're doing a bit of study. We'll go into the different tread patterns on the tyres. We'll make sure that you come out of this video less confused than how you came in. We've got the two most popular 35 by 12.5 18 tyres here. Some still ask, what's a 35 12.5 18 mean? 35-inch is the diameter of the tyre. These ones here, they're slightly different tread patterns. Every single 35 12.5 18 tyre is actually that little bit different to a true 35-inch tall, but 35 diameter, 12.5 is the width of the tyre. This one here, same width, and 18-inch means they can both get fitted to 18-inch wheels. So 18-inch wheels, 12.5-inch width, and 35 inches tall. We've got two tyres here, Nitto Ridge Grappler, that's a 35 12.5 18. The Nitto Ridge Grappler is often referred to as a hybrid tyre, an RT, and that's a combination or a mixture between a all-terrain and a mud-terrain tyre. So you've got a nice aggressive sidewall, you've got a decent tread pattern, but this one here is not going to get loud on the road. It's going to disperse the mud, it's going to be great all round, and it also looks good as well. Then all-terrain tyre, a lot of people love their all-terrains. Most all-terrain tyre customers are running mostly on the highway, to be honest, but they're going to be great off-road. They're going to be great on the sand, on the dirt, and in the mud they're still going to be decent, but a full muddy is what's going to disperse the mud. A lot of the customers for the Chevy 2500 platforms don't necessarily need the muds, it's more of a want. But for here, 35 12.5 18 Yokohama Geolandar G016, so this is an XAT tyre, and that one there, quite a popular fitment. The reason why these two tyres are the most popular 35 12.5 18s at Big Dog Builds, they're bloody good, as well as the load rating on the tyre will suit our big GVM upgrades that we can offer for the 2500 Chevy platform as well. They've both got a 128Q load rating. That's a massive 1800 kilos per tyre, which means you can go up to a 3600 kilo rear axle, which the Chevy can't get to. 1800 kilos per tyre matched to a good load rated wheel is what's going to make sure that you don't have any dramas on your Chevy 2500 no matter where you'd roll. Let's put these two tyres away. We'll jump at the back here. I can find some wheels that are out of the box and we'll go into a bit of wheel offset talk. What an 8x180 means, what an 8x170 means, what offset means, what backspace means, and how it's going to affect your Chevy 2500. When it comes to wheels for your Chevy 2500, we just talked about tyres. This one here is the Yokohama G016, so 35, 12.5, 18 tyre itself. And this one here is the ever so popular Method 305 NVHD. With the NVHD series from Method, this one here's got over 2 ton payload per wheel, and it comes in limited fitments. We'll step back a section and talk about 8x180. You might hear this, see this. 8x180 is the PCD, which is the stud pattern and the fitment, which suits the Chev 2500 models. Chev 2500, Ram 2500 and the F250 all have different PCDs. For the Chevy 2500, all you need to care about is 8x180. That's the lugs there and where they fit to the hub itself. With the NV305HD from Method, they come traditionally with zinc lip bolts. These ones here we've swapped out to the matte black lip bolts, and that's the benefit of customizing your vehicle for the way you want it to look. Blacked out approach is what a lot of people like. So when it comes to the offset of the wheel, this one here is an 18x9, positive 18 is the offset. So it's an 18-inch diameter. Offsets can get a little bit confusing when you're talking about the more positive, it goes further inside the vehicle. The more negative, it actually pushes further away from the vehicle itself. So a positive 18 wheel sits nice and flush inside the Chevy 2500 guards. If this wheel here was a negative 18, that wheel would sit further out of the vehicle itself. That's putting it nice and simply. When we come down to wheel and tyre fitment on a vehicle, the most popular 18-inch wheel fitment is the 18x9 positive 18, just like this one here. For the Chevy 2500 platform, there's not a lot of wheel options that give you an 18-inch wheel in a negative fitment, which means that the wheel's sitting further out from the vehicle. And when you go up to a 20-inch wheel option, you're going to have a heap of different range between negative 24, which is a nice aggressive wide stance, up to a positive 18, which is pretty much this fitment here, which is going to run nice and flush. If you're wanting to run more positive offset, you need to be careful of front end suspension components like upper control arms that can foul on the tyre. So it's really about getting the right wheel and tyre combination that's going to suit your vehicle, and that's where we come in. If you send us in what you like from an image perspective, what sort of stance you want on the vehicle. You might say, I want the vehicle to sit nice and flush. We can't have tyre poke here in Australia, so you can say what sort of stance you want. If you want a more safe fitment, so the wheel's further in, or if you want an aggressive fitment, we can then do a wider offset and cover that with some flares as well. With wheels, one extra confusing thing is it is an 18-inch wheel, it's a 9-inch wide, but the positive offset is actually 18 millimeters. When you Google wheel offset, you can see backspace, which is what the US usually use, and the backspace of the wheel is same sort of fitment as your offset, measured in a different way. I'm not going to get into that one here because we talk about offset here in Australia. One other important consideration to think for your wheel and tyre combination for the Chevy 2500, 35-inch option. This one here is still going to fit in your spare wheel well. If you go up to a 37-inch option, this one isn't going to fit up under the spare wheel well. If you got a canopy or something going on the back and you can fit a 37 up there, otherwise you're going to have to lug around a 37-inch spare wheel either in the tub or run the risk of not running a spare at all. One extra important consideration is any additional size or weight to your wheel and tyre combination is going to put more pressure through your whole driveline. So your transmission's going to feel a 37-inch tyre a lot more than the standard wheels that come on the vehicle, which is a 34.1-inch tyre. And so a 35-inch tyre isn't much bigger than factory. We haven't seen any issues at all, but for those wanting to go up to the 37s or even larger, make sure that you're going to drive the vehicle accordingly. Warranty is a big consideration. Luckily, we haven't seen any issues here in Australia on these Chevy 2500s, but a 35-inch option I think would suit most people's application. It'll fit under your spare wheel well. It looks great on a 3-inch suspension kit. 35s, 37s, I'm keen to hear your feedback. If you like this video, guys, check this video out here. If you want to see these things boogie up the beach, this video here is one to watch as well.